Okay, so let us look at this question on intermediate mesoderm. Mention derivatives of intermediate mesoderm. 3 marks. What are they asking about mesoderm? Which mesoderm? Intermediate mesoderm. And what are they asking? The derivatives of intermediate mesoderm. So which topic is this, guys? Embryology. Very good. Quickly. So intermediate mesoderm will give rise to the nephrogenic cord. Okay. So nephro, that means what? Finally, it will give what? The kidney. So main answer for you is the kidney. Okay. It also will give a little part of the gonads, the testis, ovary. Okay. So intermediate mesoderm will give what? Gonads, that is the testis slash ovary, that is testis or ovary parts, and kidney. Okay. Main you have to understand kidney. So this is what you will write. Details, if they ask you, you will say in the testis what and all? The epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculation duct. 3 things. Epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculation duct. That means from whenever the sperm is formed till it comes out of the male body, those ducts only it is helping. Okay. It is forming the ducts which will throw out sperm. Okay. So it is that is about gonads. Okay, coming to kidney, entire kidney, guys, the nephrons and even the collecting duct, everything comes from intermediate mesoderm. Okay, so this intermediate mesoderm will give the urogenital system. What will it give? Urogenital system. You should be able to mention these are the last things that is formed, correct? In the middle, so many things are there. Finally, what are the derivatives? We have told you. Okay. Now in kidney, what and all you will mention, no? The nephron, that is the glomerulus. Look here. The glomerulus, the proximal convoluted tubule, the Henle's loop, everything comes from this intermediate mesoderm. Then the ureter, renal, pelvis, calyces, entire collecting system, the entire urinary collecting system, whoever collects the urine and puts it out of your body, all that will come from intermediate mesoderm. So basically taking the sperms and throwing out of the body, taking the urine and throwing, even forming the urine and throwing it out of the body. There, okay, forming urine also is under this fellow only, intermediate mesoderm. So what he will do, he will take the sperm and throw it out, that part of it, and urine, whatever is there, formation of urine also it will help. Okay, formation of urine and throwing it out. Okay, but one thing I wanted to tell you is that it does not, intermediate mesoderm will not give rise to bladder. It will also not give rise to uterus. Uterus and bladder and all don't come from intermediate mesoderm. What and all come from intermediate mesoderm? Say that again. In the testis, the epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculation duct, some part of ovary they are saying, I'm not sure what. So the gonads, that is the testis and ovary. And in the kidney, what and all you have? The nephrons, all the urine formation system, right? Glomerulus, the proximal convoluted tubule, Henle's loop, distal convoluted tubule, etc. And then you have all the urine collecting, the collecting duct, the calyces, and the ureter, everything. So all this will is called what? Urogenital system. So it gives rise to urogenital system. Okay. Now in the middle, what and all is there? That and all we have to see now. Okay, for 3 marks, you will have to write at least some of this story. So nephrogenic cord it will give. Okay, this is what is important. Now, intermediate mesoderm will have 2 things. Okay, it can be segmented or unsegmented. Okay, segmented and unsegmented parts are there. The segmented parts is what is the pronephros. This is pronephros. You have unsegmented, mesonephros, metanephros. Okay, so there are 2 parts of this intermediate mesoderm, segmented and unsegmented. In the segmented, you have the what is called as the pronephros, and unsegmented parts are the mesonephros and the metanephros. This pronephros, initially in the 4th week of the embryo, it will work as the excretory system. Then it will degenerate. It will be in the cervical region. I'll show you that. Okay. Look at this diagram. I think it will be better for you to understand. I'll zoom this. See, here, whatever I will highlight now is the intermediate mesoderm. Okay, now we'll remove that color. Now you can understand where is the intermediate mesoderm. In that here you have segments, correct? So this is the segmented part, and below here you have the unsegmented part. Okay, so in unsegmented part, what and all is there? Mesonephros and metanephros. Segmented part you have the pronephros. Okay, this is in the cervical part. That means what? In the neck part. Okay, you can see that. And then mesonephros is thorax, lumbar, sacral. All this will be your other parts, unsegmented parts. Okay, Now see if you can understand this again. So you have the segmented parts and the unsegmented parts. The segmented parts is the pronephros, unsegmented is mesonephros and metanephros. So initially this pronephros will act like the kidney during week 4. Then it will degenerate, it will not give rise to anything. Okay. Now coming to mesonephros, later after the pronephros degenerates or during that itself, what it will do, it will start doing the excretory functions. So this is the embryonic kidney for you. Okay. The embryonic kidney is your mesonephros. Here we are, mesonephros. Okay. This mesonephros will also give rise to what is called as a ureteric bud, which will be the collection of the urine and throwing that urine out, ureter. Ureter. That will come from ureteric bud. So from your kidney, whatever comes out, right? So if this is kidney, all the collecting ducts, calyces of your kidney, and then your ureter, all this part is from your this ureteric bud. All this part, this much part is from your ureteric bud. Okay, but the actual nephrons, okay, the nephrons who do the urine formation, that comes from metanephros. Metanephros is what? Metanephros is going to give you the definitive adult kidney. Okay, so all the filtration part, the glomerulus, proximal convoluted tubule, and then the collecting duct, all that will come from metanephros. Too much information, right? Okay, let's just revise so that we understood. We'll see if we understood. This is your kidney. Right, in the kidney, wherever this urine is formed and it has to get thrown out, that portion of it and the ureter, this comes from the mesonephros. The actual filtration of the formation of the urine is metanephros. Okay, mesonephros will give rise to the ureteric bud, which will give the ureter and all this collecting parts of the kidney. Meso. This is what? Meso. Okay. What else did meso give? Meso will also give the gonadal part. Okay. Gonadal part is what? In the testis, the epididymis, vas deferens and ejaculation duct. So this also will come from mesonephros. Okay. So in you, whatever in you that kidney is there, no, that is coming from two parts. What is it coming from? Mesonephros and metanephros. Okay. So just look at this. Kidney is the excretory part of the urinary system. The mesonephros will give rise to the ureteric bud, which will give the ureter, renal pelvis, calyces, and the entire collecting system. Metanephros will give the nephron, that is that part of the nephron, the glomerulus, PCT, Henle's loop, distal convoluted tubule, all that will come from your metanephros. Guys, just understand this. After all this develops, okay, the gonads will descend. Okay, the gonads will do what? Gonads will descend, but the kidneys will ascend. Okay, testis will descend, kidney will ascend. So kidney initially is pelvic, then it will become abdominal. So in case there is any development and anomaly, in somewhere in the portion between these two, you can find your kidney. Abnormal position of kidney can be there. Okay. Now let us get into some more details. What is mesoderm? So mesoderm means, see, this is a 2-germ layer, right? 2-germ layer is there here. And then because of the primitive streak and the epiblast cells entering it and differentiating further, you will get this is the primitive streak, guys. So into this, what will happen? The epiblast cells will migrate, and what will happen? The blue color cells, they'll migrate into this primitive streak, right? And they will form the 3-germ layer. So you have the endoderm, mesoderm, endoderm is inside. Okay, this is endoderm, endo, meso, and ecto. So 2 layer became 3 layer by way of primitive streak. This entire process is called as gastrulation. So 2 layer is becoming 3 layer. Actually, in this 2 layer, there what and all was there? Epiblast was there and hypoblast was there. This epiblast itself will become the 3 layers, that is ecto, meso, and endo. This hypoblast will go away. Okay. So this happened. Now we know that how mesoderm formed. Then how did intermediate mesoderm form? Okay. So now let us see that intermediate mesoderm, by which place in the primitive streak did the cells enter? Did it enter here? Around here, if they entered, it is becoming paraxial mesoderm. Wait, let me write again here. Here, if the cells entered, it is becoming paraxial mesoderm. Then here in the green part, if it is entering, that is more tail end. That is the caudal end. If it is entering the cells, it is giving rise to intermediate mesoderm. Then you have the lateral plate mesoderm. So the intermediate mesoderm, where is the intermediate mesoderm, guys? The intermediate mesoderm is between the paraxial mesoderm and the lateral plate mesoderm. So first of all, definition of intermediate mesoderm, it is the mesoderm that is between the paraxial and the lateral plate mesoderm. Very good. So this you have understood what intermediate mesoderm is, you have understood, right? Now we'll understand the segmented, unsegmented. I already showed you this diagram, segmented and unsegmented. So this part you have understood. Now coming to pronephros, mesonephros, metanephros. So pronephros degenerates after 4th week. It was doing some work and then it degenerated. It doesn't bother about anybody else or not. It doesn't give rise to anything. Now coming to mesonephros. Mesonephros is the guy who is shown in purple here. He also will do some kind of filtration in the embryo. So he'll have some tubules, mesonephric tubules. He will also do some filtration and all that. Okay, and then what happens? He will also give up and he will, the metanephric system is the final kidney, right? But this mesonephric guy, what he does, he also gives some things which will continue in your adult life. What is that? So he will give rise to something in the gonads, I told you, right? In the testis, that epididymis, vas deferens, and ejaculation duct, all that it will give rise to in the male. In female, it usually doesn't do much. It will regress. Okay, but still you have to write ovary in the exam because textbook says that. What this mesonephric duct is, mesonephros will do, it will give rise to a ureteric bud. You can see that ureteric bud here, guys. So this ureteric bud you can see is coming from the mesonephros, right? Then the metanephros they have shown in the green. So what happens, this metanephros will attach to the ureteric bud. Very important to note. So the metanephric mesenchyme will go and attach to the ureteric bud, and that is how your kidney will form. So this is how your kidney should look now. In the colors that they have used, a beautiful green kidney with the ureteric bud parts forming the collecting system, calyxes and all that. Okay. So this is how the kidney forms. Okay. So if somebody asks you kidney formation, same answer you have to write in the exam. Okay. But it will not be for 3 marks, I'm thinking. It should be for more marks. Now let us go to the one more diagram here for us to understand. Let's look at this. So pronephros, what will happen? It will regress. Perfect. This guy doesn't give us trouble at all. Pronephros, regress. Very good. What is mesonephros? Meso, always in between people. They are neither here nor there. So this mesonephros, what he'll do? He will give epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculation duct in male. Female, it doesn't do much, but still in the exam you have to write ovary, parts of ovary. Okay. So parts of testis, parts of ovary. So you have to say gonad. It will give rise to what? Gonad. Gonad. That is testis or ovary. Right? Parts of them, not the entire thing. Okay. Then it will also give one ureteric duct. What it will give? Ureteric bud. Ureteric bud it will give. So that ureteric bud they have shown here as UB. See here UB, ureteric bud. Okay, now that ureteric bud will go and attach to this metanephros, and those two together will form your kidney. So the metanephric system will give the nephron, that is all your urine formation system, and the ureteric bud will give you the collecting system, urine collecting system, and throwing it out till the urinary bladder, that is the ureter. So here you have the kidney and here you have the ureter. Till here everything is intermediate mesoderm, but then once it comes to our urinary bladder and urethra, that is not coming under our question. Very good. Take a deep breath. Okay, so now let us look at this image here. So here you can see the first part here, you see this is Wolffian duct. They are saying this is your mesonephros. Mesonephros is giving rise to the ureteric bud, right? And around it, whatever they are showing is the metanephros, that this is the metanephric mesenchyme. Okay, so this metanephric mesenchyme should join the ureteric bud. So finally what has happened, you see here. So you have the glomerulus, the proximal convoluted tubule, the Henle's loop, the distal convoluted tubule. Till here it is what? The metanephros, and it has joined the ureteric bud, which is the mesonephros. Okay. The labeling is slightly wrong here, but anyways, so you got the point, right? So now you learn some clinical anatomy. Clinical anatomy you have to mention, right? So why is all this important? So in some people, instead of this ureteric bud being here, let us see there are multiple ureteric buds. Okay, the ureteric bud divides before early division happens. So before it can become that calyx and all that. So it divides. So what will happen? There'll be one more metanephric, it will go and attach there, one more. So on one side you should have one kidney, right? There are so many kidneys here. See, if the ureteric bud had formed one more bud, it had divided early here, one more kidney. So imagine you'll have supernumerary kidney. So if ureteric bud early divides, if it divides early, so instead of one ureteric bud, if you have one ureteric bud only has divided off, early division has happened, then what will happen? Your meta will go and surround it, right? The meta. So instead of having one kidney on one side, you will have so many kidneys on one side. So it's supernumerary kidneys, okay? And they'll have ectopic ureters. Ureters will not be in the correct place, they are saying, okay? Ectopic ureters also, that is the problem. If I have many kidneys, I don't think I have a problem. But this ectopic ureters, they don't drain properly. That will become a problem, right? Okay, the other thing you can mention is horseshoe kidney. We told you that the kidneys will do what? They will ascend, and instead of ascending and reaching the final place, somewhere in between and all, you can find kidneys in people. When I palpate my kidney, it might be in the right place, but in other people, it might be somewhere below, okay, because it didn't ascend. Or they might have even horseshoe kidney, something like this. See, horseshoe shaped kidney. The kidneys are attached. So this is another clinical anatomy that you should know. I hope the answer to this question is clear. You should be able to write with diagrams if they ask for 5 or 10 marks. If they ask also, you should be able to write, okay? Formation of kidney if they ask, everything. Okay, that's all. Bye-bye.